Get it out of your system now. Maybe, motherfucker. That's the Kill Switch Engage guy. Maybe, motherfucker. Yeah.
What's up, y'all? I used to be in Kill Switch Engage.
Hey,
Shit.
I'm about to fill up my good. I'm gonna record my solo album, motherfucker.
Oh, fuck. Oh, shit.
Oh shit! I used to be a Kill Switch Engage, bitch.
Oh, shit, we about to play? Let me get my chain wallet. I'm a Kill Switch Engage. Shit.
With all due respect.
All due respect, one of the greatest live vocal
that
performances
guy.
I've ever seen. Legitimately, there's dude, I'll even throw my favorite band under the bus. Love Kupacon to death. I think they're the best band ever. I think something happened when you see Matt Honeycutt live. From a bass, the bass tone isn't completely there. It's still a great live show, but it's not 100% the album. Now, I've never seen Kill Switch live.
Oh, I have.
And dude, but I saw like a high quality video live performance, was playing it on my TV. Brother, the power in that man's voice. He's fucking crazy.
So I got to see them. It was Kill Switch, if I remember correctly, and this is a crazy fucking lineup. If I remember correctly, I think it was...
What year?
Maybe like 2006.
Oh, okay.
Or 7.
Yeah, that's a good year for us now, where you look back and you go, wait, they were all on a tour?
Well, no, get this. It was Slayer was headlining. Opening up for Slayer was Kill Switch Engage and Mastodon.
Oh, that's sick.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
I didn't give a fuck too much about Mastodon at the time, but they did win me over with their live show. It was kind of fun.
Yeah, no, I don't care about Mastodon, but if I was at a show and they were playing, I wouldn't be mad they were on the lineup.
But Kill Switch Engage, who I was a fan of, and was like, I can't believe that they're playing with Slayer. Like that combination. But it's metal and metal. You know, it works.
Sorry, I was looking up. The sun's actually better for the second episode.
Nice. Hell yeah. Thank you. Thank you, son.
Thank you, son.
Thanks, God. So
Thank you, God.
Thanks, God. Oh, sorry, we didn't pray. Thanks, God. But that motherfucker, dude, he came out great intro song. And
he came out, I'm also gay.
I'm pole smoking, yeah. He came out and fucking they hit this fucking big thing, and right at the break where it's like the blast beats and shit like that, he rolls on the ground forward on across the stage. It was incredible.
Rolls?
I don't. It's a hard rock. I mean, this guy's going he's not doing cartwheels or anything, so you're just like, where'd he go? Like a goddamn Sonic the Hedgehog. He's just like, blah, 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 and pops up on this side and fucking right on, foot on the monitor, fucking,
That rips.
Dude, it was one of the best performances I've seen live. I would not see Kill Switch Engage without him.
Dude.
I think as far as I'm very excited, and that's for real. I wish I knew his name. But whoever that guy, you guys all know who I'm talking about. We are recording, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, I couldn't remember if we got everything out before. But yes, whoever that guy is recording a solo album that's coming out soon, I would hope. And I look very much forward to that because
he has one of the best voices in metal.
Yeah, I love Kill Switch Engage, but I love Kill Switch Engage with him at the helm.
Well, no, I did. That's why I got on a Kill Switch deep dive the one day, because I was like, I know the End of Heartbreak or whatever their main their big song is.
Yeah, and
then I was listening to a bunch of their shit without him in it, and it's like. You hate to really put a whole band's essence in one guy, but it's just it just sucks that it's it sucks you guys got the best vocalist.
Yeah, to start, that's the thing is most bands will get they'll upgrade. You know what I'm saying? But besides Rancid from Operation Ivy, Kill Switch Engage to their new singer, because you go from Jesse from Operation Ivy where you're like, it's not a bad singer, I don't mind it, to Tim Armstrong. And fucking, dude, legitimately, everybody in Rancid now is not great at singing. but the guy from Operation Ivy, Jesse, whatever his fucking name is, who's still alive, still able to perform, and I want to remind everyone, still not currently on tour with Operation Ivy.
Yeah, and still has a couple free weekends every year.
They can play
around
a fucking
festival season.
Right, they can play a fucking wedding reception apparently, but they can't play a goddamn Coachella. But either way,
Or for God forbid, Riot Fest.
or yeah, and literally anything. I don't understand it, but I think there's been plenty of times where we've discussed it about. I don't think a band. This is a crazy thing. I don't think a band has been as successful after, in most people's opinions, the essence of the band is left. Like Killswitch Engage to me was those vocals over that metal music. When that metal music, when you get, they bring in, I think. At the time, I don't know who the current lead singer is, but I believe it was somebody from All Shall Perish that took over. I love All Shall Perish.
Yeah.
I love all their singers. But also, they're a little bit more interchangeable singer-wise. For him to come into Killswitch Engage, like, I haven't heard that, actually. Maybe I'll look that up.
You know
his performance of that song live. You
You
know,
know who actually had the exact opposite happen? This is so funny. We're talking about Killswitch. Killswitch Engage.
Sorry about that, bro. Man, stinks.
Who were that? What was the band's name?
Eat some donuts before this.
Oh yeah, yeah. So it's so funny because I was watching a lot of live performances, and I don't know if you saw Furnace Fest, which has kind of turned into like the new, in my opinion, like the new Warped Tour.
Yeah.
Where at least for people our age, and the shitty part is they're not doing it anymore. But like you would see Furnace Fest every year. It'd be a 3-day festival, and you're like, I would happily go see 80% of these bands.
Yeah.
And the other 20%, I wouldn't be mad about going to see them. And there's this one band called Bury Your Dead.
Yeah.
And they're like kind of big back in the day.
Yeah.
And yeah, the song was so fucking sick. They were going hard. Everyone was going crazy. A dude literally drop kicked another guy into the crowd. It was fucking hilarious, which is ironic when we bring up the next story where nothing happened.
How many times like crowd members have been openly attacked?
Yeah. No, and then like they just had this like insane breakdown at the end where they just go like, Barry, you're fucking dead. It was just so cool. So I'm like, I was like, how have I not checked this band out?
Yeah.
And so Killswitch, they had a black lead singer, and he left the band, and then they got okay. Bury Your Dead was the exact opposite. I was like looking up their old shit. They have one of those like aggressive white dudes who's like probably sober or something.
Yeah.
And their shit fucking rips. And then later in the band, they get like this black dude with dreads or something, and I'm like, wait, but they're butt rock now. Like they were literally like a hardcore band, they like. They went butt rock, and I'm like, damn, that's so funny. Bury Your Dead is the exact opposite of Killswitch.
Yeah, that's crazy. And that's what I'm saying is like it is I like the clean, nice, beautiful vocals.
Yeah.
With that to me is because that was the thing I always tried to distinguish when I was growing up with a lot of the bands that were popular, a lot of the bands that people may like had the whiny vocals, like the emo shit. Like I don't mind.
Yeah.
Clean vocals with, like, I loved Thrice because the clean vocals were nice vocals, and then the screams were good screams.
Yeah.
When you get to some certain bands when they're just like that, like, and you're just like, oh yeah.
I've been going.
I didn't like that. So like that's what I'm saying with him. When you have this powerful, like almost operatic, like vocal.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's beautiful vocal, and then he's just like, yeah. And it's like, whoa, what the fuck is that? So I'm interested. Like that's so much more dynamic, and it's not saying that the songs aren't great. Like I love the guitar player from Killswitch Engage is an incredible producer.
Mm-hmm.
I think like the musicianship is great. It's just the vocals you can't. I feel like is very
such hard shoes to fill.
It's so undeniable, and like I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if he's. I really have not kept up with this gentleman's career. Still don't even know his name. It's essentially the same respect I've given Hootie over the years.
of the Blowfish.
You know what I'm saying? Of like an incredible artist. I respect him immensely, but I can't remember his goddamn name. Darius Rucker.
Yeah, Darius Rucker.
You know what I'm saying? And that's only because he's gotten huge as a country artist. If he'd never gotten big out of Hootie and the Blowfish, nobody would know his name, unfortunately.
You never would have found out his name is not Hootie.
If he didn't come out and go, hey, my name's actually Darius. And they go like, what? Darius and the Blowfish is what we were supposed to call you? No, guys, the band, That's what you get for being dickheads when you name your band.
Dude,
You're gonna get asked about it all the time. Who's Hootie?
You were saying all the stuff about the you never got into like the emo bands with like the whiny vocals and shit like that. And you know full well, like everyone who listens to this pod, like I got into that hardcore.
Devil Wears Prada was a very close. That was the only maybe exception, probably.
Yeah, but they had enough. They had enough of other shit.
It was enough evil.
But no, I definitely got into my fair share of like, whether it be emo or pop punk with like the whiny or the super nasally vocals and shit like that. And I've been experiencing this thing as an adult in my mid-30s, like people discovering. Well, I mean, we just put out the clip for Panties, but and then BK Chris saw it, and then he's been busting my balls this week. But it's been a very like people finding out I was kind of an emo kid,
yeah.
And I think like I do I get fucked up because I think I might oversell it for comedic purposes, because like Chris was asking me, he's like, "Did you wear all the shit?" And I go, like half of it, because I was still like not skinny, so like. It's a genre you have to be a twink for to like fully embrace the clothing. But no, I've been experiencing this weird thing with like defending my love for emo, because it's like I still love it, and like half of it I still love purely for nostalgia reasons. Like I think we were talking about it, like All Killer No Filler, it doesn't hit the same, but I still love it for nostalgic reasons. I would rather go to their 2 albums after that over All Killer No Filler. But it's this weird thing where, like, if people find out you used to listen to emo music, they start, like, busting your balls hard. And then you're, like, have to walk this tightrope, because when someone's in the middle of that, you sound like a pussy where you're like, you're right, da-da-da. But they are kind of right.
Yeah. But that's my thing. My distinction for most of my life, which, by the way, I have an update on my favorite band now.
Mutoid Man?
It's officially it's only gonna be Mutoid Man.
It's officially Mutoid Man?
It has to be, because like I even Spotify said it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I officially listened to them way less than I did NoFX. NoFX isn't even a band anymore necessarily, but for the longest time, and even the same thing with Mutoid Man. I think they're great. I may not, in my personal opinion, I think they're the best band. But it's subjective. Like to say that they're the greatest musicians, probably not the greatest. Whatever, you know what I mean? Like statistically, maybe. Like you can even just say no, like because they're just professional musicians.
Yeah.
But it's all distinction. So it's like preference or something like that. When you go like, yeah, it's lame. Like, yeah, I think that's kind of cringy. Yeah, I think if it was a band that I didn't love, I would make fun of them for doing that.
Yeah.
But because I like this stuff, like, you're right, it's gay, but I like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, same thing with NoFX. They're gay. I like them.
Yeah.
You know, no Mutoid Man. Might be.
Well, yeah. The one thing I was trying to go, because it's like it's hard to. Like, I don't want to sound like I'm just fucking selling out all the emo music I used to love, but there is just so much of it that it's like, I'm not like. I still listen to some of it from time. I'm definitely way more into hardcore and shit like that now. But like, it's a lot of it's hard to defend.
Yeah.
But wait, fuck. What was the? That's what it was. When we were on Panties, they were. Nate accidentally called me Goth, and then they were asking the fucking. And that was when I actually like perked my ears up. I go, buddy, I'll own up to all my emo bullshit. Do not call me Goth, because to me, Goths are theater kids.
They're two completely different types of gay.
Yeah. I'll die on that hill. Goth is Goth dudes, because you know what? And a lot of them are posers, but there's a lot of goth girls online. I can't say nothing. I can't say nothing bad about goth girls.
Not one damn thing.
But it's like goth dudes. Oh my god, I'll die on that hill that they are like, hey, emos might be gayers, but goth, and this is for all the Panties fans, are full blown freezes.
Yeah, dude. I think honestly, there's an element to, once you realize that part of their attempt is to get pussy, you're like, oh, okay, but I still don't respect you. I still don't, you know what I'm saying? I still don't like you. Anybody that is all, like, I've said this for years, and I'll fucking die on this hill. Anybody that is all just one thing is fucking lame.
Yeah.
You're a lame motherfucker. If your identity is just one thing, you know what I mean? It's crazy, because it doesn't mean...
Do you mind? I'm sorry, I gotta take a call real quick.
Yeah, what's up?
All right, and we're back. I apologize. Where were we?
I was saying anybody that's all one person, all just one type
Oh,
of thing,
yeah.
you're just lame.
Well, and also too, I always felt like emo was a little bit more tongue in cheek, and goth was like, no, I'm a vampire.
Yeah. So
And
both of them had a lot of poetry. That's the connection, and unfortunately, that you cannot shake is both sides have deep, stupid poetry.
That was dude. That was always my favorite thing about emo music is they would always have certain words in their songs where I go, you
Don't know what
never
that means.
use that.
Yeah.
In it, and it's not even that like.
You can't transpose me.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
need something that went with
Or
the
it's
other
just like
word.
it's not. It's like I'll even give them benefit of the doubt. It doesn't have to be a word you say all the time. It's just this is not you. You had to look this up. You didn't know how to spell that.
Yeah. And you're not cool or deep. You're just
Yeah.
you're just somebody that's just going through the same shit the rest of us are. Instead of self-medicating, you're just being a bitch.
Yeah, it's just like you're not that guy. Because it's like most emo dudes I met would be those guys who would like string girls along. Like a lot of emo dudes are like, that's what I try to dudes who didn't grow up fucking emo. I go, you need to understand it got you so much pussy.
And
I,
not only
I
that-
need to stress it because there was so many toxic dudes in like emo spaces that would be those guys who would be like the passive aggressive abusive and then string girls along, and if the girl's like, I'm gonna get a new boyfriend or I'm gonna leave you, they'll be like, well, I'm gonna kill myself then. It was like It was full of like toxic retarded dudes like that all the time.
You know how the football commentators go from like Tom Brady, who's gotten 7 Super Bowls or whatever, to like Mark Sanchez, who is most famous for the butt fumble. So like you have 2 different quarterbacks who are broadcasting currently that are completely different sides of the spectrum. But I feel like most emos were failed punks. They're people that didn't fit into the punk part of it, and they're like, I can get way more pussy on this side because it was the same essential scene. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the same shows, and like that's when a lot of the what's it called? Like a lot of the kind of muddying up of the waters started coming, where they're like, oh, is that a post-punk band? Is this a post-punk band? And you're like, what are you doing? Why are you saying this?
I'll say this because you had like I had experience with punks growing up, but in my circles, most people who tried to be punk were like genuine posers. So I think as a default for now, granted, like there'd be people I'd go more actually into Allentown, there'd probably be more genuine punks. But broadly speaking, the circles I ran in were much more suburban centric. So it would be the 2 options at the end of the day really were like pop punk or emo. So I think it was more from where I was, it was more of a result of just the general fucking environment.
That was the first time I feel like I can even the Santa bullshit, like even like figuring out like Easter Bunny's not real kind of shit. Like even that kind of dismayed, like it was not as much as like me figuring out like I try so hard to look like those fucking super punk guys. And the harder and harder I tried, the more I realized like it's fucking expensive.
Yeah.
This shit is expensive. A leather jacket, those fucking pants with all the buckle, like all that shit is just like this thing where I'm like that's when I realized, like the SLC talk that we had last time, the SLC punk conversation of like, you're all like, the more punk you look, the more poser you are. So like,
bro, every
a subtle
book
goth
I read
could be mistaken for an emo. A subtle emo could be mistaken for a punk. Like all this shit where you're just like, or you could just be a fucking person. Like that's the thing is like once all those categories started coming up. And also the thing of like when you start going, like we joked about this even last time, where you're like, this is an inclusive place. Get the fuck out of here. We don't like you, you can come in.
This is an exclusive place for everyone except you.
Except you. And that's the thing where like, it's the same idea where the more structure that was being built in this world, the less I wanted to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be a part of the structure of it. I liked like the Descendants or NoFX, where like they look like they're wearing comfortable clothes. I'm like they're still saying fuck the government, but they're also wearing
that's why
they're not worried about the contradiction of wearing fucking like comfortable shoes and all this other shit. They're just wearing like they're guys who are like, hey, I'm in town. the pair of pants that I brought with me on tour are gone. Where's a Walmart? Like,
That's why
it's not like they're always sitting there going like, I gotta stand on this hill.
Yeah.
The most political punk in the world still use rave number 4 fucking hold. I remember I did it. Other ones, you also go up to them and you know what? It's funny. You go like, oh, I like your hair, dude, and they kind of look at you like whatever, and you're like, how'd you do it? And then they start going, okay, so what I do is I don't wash it for 3 days, and then I take a washcloth. What you take is a washcloth, a dry washcloth, and you do this, and it helps to stick all the hair together. And then that way, when you spray it, it actually holds up better. It frizzes up your hair, and it's a cheaper way to actually do it. So that way you don't have to worry about, because it gets so uneven in the back, and you're just like, you're gay.
That's why I got way
Just admit
more.
it.
That's why I got way more drawn to like metalcore and hardcore, because from like a fashion standpoint, from
Those
like
are the dudes that are
fashion-
dressing like Luigi Mangione now. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the guys that just wear like a nice fucking Hollister t-shirt and fucking like cargo shorts, and they look beautiful, and you're just like,
But no,
you just like fashion.
from a quote unquote fashion standpoint, I could like most metalcore, like obviously there were the metalcore bands that would do like the fucking like crazy hair and all that shit, but the ones who were just kind of playing like kind of heavy music, it would just be a guy in jeans and a fucking
T-shirt.
band shirt,
Yeah.
and that's like most hardcore bands. Most hardcore bands are just like dudes wearing all black,
Just
and
comfortable
shit like that.
performance sweats or something like
Oh,
that. You know
brother!
what I mean? Like,
And then a lot of these bands too at these festivals started implementing the 5-inch inseam. I go, wait! I could be a hardcore dude and wear hoochie daddy shorts.
right.
I was
know
like,
what I mean?
is this the best genre ever?
And that's what I'm saying is like the comfortable shit or like any of that other stuff is like Henry Rollins didn't wear like, I don't know. It's just
He
it's
dressed
to me-
like Louis.
It's just to me. It's like you just wear it. It shouldn't be about that necessarily, but it became such that. And then when you start getting the splinters off of like goth, where you're trying too hard, and then like punk kids were like, well, we want one of those. So
Yeah.
like, they're like, well, what do we do? And we're gonna make emo shit. And then everything, all the lines get blurred, and that's how you end up going. Are you goth, punk, emo? Like, and I wasn't gonna say this when we were talking about it with Steph earlier, but like one of the biggest fucking perpetrators of this fucking crime of what you misgender, what would you say? You misgenre. If you misgenre somebody, I feel like the biggest perpetrator is porn, where you go hot goth girl gets fucked in her ass, and you go like
Just
you
a
go to
girl
and
with
you're
black
like
hair and tattoos.
no, not even. It's like some blonde chick with like, and you're like, what makes her goth? You know what I'm saying? Like there's no element of this video that makes her goth. Now, at least if she has black hair and tattoos, you can go, okay, she's punk, goth, emo chick gets fucked. And you're like, which one?
Which one is it?
Which one is she? It becomes too specific, and then you're like, well, now you're helping to give the misinformation out there to say like, oh, she's a punk goth girl. Like, what's a punk goth girl?
Well,
what are you talking about?
This was the other element of why I always thought back in like now goth girls have sort of figured out the outfit a little bit more uniform. Back in my day, goth girl wasn't a just assumed hot chick.
Oh, dude, and then I'm sorry, I forgot about steampunk. Steampunk was a newer one. Then I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? You're a comic book punk rocker or some shit?
Yeah,
Like,
you're
what
like-
the fuck? That you reminded me of that when they
Like,
got the
have you
outfit down.
Have you seen the end of Wild Wild West?
Yeah. You know how nobody ever dresses? Get ready for this.
Yeah,
That's what goth did.
They
yeah.
really made a whole fashion statement based out of the like a random metaverse someone made up.
There's no music thing or no anything behind it except for, like you said, like computers.
Steampunk also irritated me because it like it's similar to whenever you see like a science fiction movie that you go, oh, you guys clearly created this world because it looked cool. None of it makes sense. That's why I always defend Dune, because like structurally speaking, I get what they're doing, because it's like it's not that they don't have technology, it's that they don't have technology that alters like the human form. I forget
Yeah.
the exact word. It's like they'll create a spaceship to fly to the planet, but they're not like
Yeah.
it's basically anti-AI and shit
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But like So steampunk always fucking irritated me because I go, oh no, the only reason it's there is because it like looks cool to you.
Steampunk is like, what if they were like, what if the Matrix happened in the 1920s? And
What if the Matrix had wood?
yeah, what if you take the red pill and then, oh my god, I'm on a fucking horse now? What the fuck?
It's so funny.
And just like, well, I was just walking before.
But back to my point, like people gotta understand. I always like to. I think I get a little defensive about this because I get it. Like the emo shit didn't age well, but I just gotta I gotta give proper context because like people goth. I didn't realize this till like talking about it just now. Why Nate just threw out goth like that on the pod because it's like. Oh, people forget like goth has such a positive association because there's so many
because
big
hot bitches,
big and hey, thank you for your service, ladies. There's
goth big titted bitches. I would rewrite fat bottom girls with goth
big titty bitches
big titted
make
goths,
the rockin' world go round.
big titted goths make the rocket world go round.
Yeah.
A big titty goth girl can brighten your day.
100%.
Ironically. Like where they're just like fucking whatever, world doesn't mean anything, and you just see them drop, and you're just like, damn, those natties are run.
Here's my OF. Who even gives a shit?
I'm just like, yeah, you're a cutter, so am I. You're a cutter, I'm a comer, whatever.
I'll come in your cuts,
I'll
whatever.
do it. What do you need?
Whatever, bitch. Let me see your titties.
Let me suture that up for you.
But that's so funny. Medic, I'm done.
I'm trying.
But no, people forget that like when I was in high school, which would have been I graduated in 08, so like 04 to 08, goth wasn't necessarily associated with hot chicks. And even punk chicks weren't necessarily associated with like being hot.
Yeah.
But and a subgenre of emo, scene chicks, to me at the time,
Yeah, they were like the model version of a punk.
They were so fucking hot.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of them in my school. And brother, I would have done anything to get with them.
Scene girls were
fucking hot.
Were the shit. And I don't even they're punk chicks, right? Punk or emo chicks.
It's like the
that
same,
are just like little fashionistas.
They're
also cosmetologists too.
Yeah, they all they all cut hair.
They all cut hair.
Actually, hairdressers are in the they are in the trifecta of blue collar hottest ladies.
Yeah, for sure.
Hairdresser.
Damn, I'm gonna get a haircut.
Hairdresser, bartender, and sometimes diner waitress if she's still young.
I guess you're right. Yeah, bartender.
Bartenders are super hot when they're like young, kind of like rock and roll chicks.
Yeah.
Because you can, dude. Hairdressers for some reason are covered in tattoos.
Because they're old punk girls.
Yeah, there's a whole sect of hairdressers that are just littered with tattoos.
They're old punk girls that were young punk girls at some point. That eventually just like picked a career by accident that was actually super lucrative for them.
Well, that's kind of pretty.
They just stayed. If you just stay in it, you can eventually get to a point where you can just have your own fucking salon.
Well, I think I noticed that a lot with like punk rock or music associated. I think you and me would have done some shit like that where if we weren't doing comedy,
we would have started a practice space area where we'd have a bunch of like I bet that would be it.
Or no,
you know
I'm saying it's like one of us would have a sick graphic design company, one of us would have like a brewery or a tattoo shop.
Yeah,
because it's like that's what it is. Most people are dude, most bands aren't successful.
Right.
You know what I mean? And most people who are like, music is my passion, but there's no money here. So what's like a cool artistic side thing? And it's like
artisanal beer.
Yeah. I probably would have had if I didn't go into music or anything like that or like cooking, I'd probably have like a brewery or some shit like that.
Yeah. I think there's like, because that's still a level of creativity to it. There's a little creation to it.
I think
there's an art to it. Like if you're I bet most people like in those professions are also, like you said, failed musicians or people that were just like going to those shows that just at some point were like, oh shit, I need to do something.
Or
I need a career too. Like,
because their passion was music, but not necessarily being musician
on the stage. Yeah.
And no, because also too, you got to remember a lot of those jobs give you the freedom to visibly express yourself. You may not you're probably working 50 hours a week, but But like having the freedom to look how you want is big for people like that.
That was my dream job when I was growing up in Florida. Was I want a job that I can wear
Hairdresser?
shorts, just a job where I can wear what I want.
Yeah.
Literally, that was it. That was my only. It doesn't matter what else I have
Stuff
to do.
like that is big because most people statistically aren't doing the thing that they would do if they had a choice. So to be able to give people that level of freedom to just like wear whatever you want and shit is fucking huge.
For some reason, pants and fat guys are mortal enemies. But at a certain point, most fat guys learn how to wear pants successfully. But when you're a young boy in Florida, all you want to wear is shorts all the time. Even in the winter. You wear a hoodie and shorts. You wear shorts all the time. And how many kitchens I worked at where the requirement is, hey, no matter what, you got to wear pants. I'm just like, fuck no, I got to buy pants. Because I didn't even have them before. And then you buy pants. So, like, literally, my fucking aspiration was, if I can wear what I want to work. And then I realized I don't want to wear the shirts and stuff I like to work. So it doesn't matter. You still end up buying work clothes.
But you ever make that mistake with a hat you like? You're like, because whenever I worked in kitchens, you had to have a hat for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And I would, because they were like hat or hairnet, and I'm like, well, I'll kill myself before I wear a hairnet.
Yeah.
So I remember, and then it's that one day you forget your shitty hat.
Yeah.
So you bring your good hat, and you're like, well, all right, buddy, it's been good knowing you.
It's a work hat now. I'm never wearing you out to a show.
That's why
I will wear it to a show.
That's why I think you and me, we always joke about fantasizing about being the dishwasher or some shit. Cause like, dude, I saw that. You ever see that meme where it'll be like cute cats or something, and it'll be forced, born to dilly dally, forced to lock in.
Yeah.
And like, I was joking with stuff. I was like, I've never identified with something more.
Yeah.
Cause I think like, there's this part of me that's always like, dude, this fucking trying to make something of myself is exhausting.
Yeah.
Because I literally think, I think in another life, I'd be that dude that would make a decent amount of money doing some shit like that, and then I would get fucked up every Friday and Saturday.
I saw somebody explaining to another person, I think, how to like successfully grow your social media. And they're like, yeah, you got to post every day. You can take like a break every once in a while, but you should be posting every day. And in my head, God damn it, dude, in my head, my one and only thought was, every day?
Dude,
every day. I was like, I don't have that much to say. I have to, like, this is the most I love having conversations with people. I love podcasting. But as far as like thinking of things to post, or like thinking of like, oh, tomorrow I gotta have something to post. I'm just thinking, like, to me, that's like, I've never been a guy that's going to, like, if I'm at work, I'm not going to look for work to do. Tell me what you want me to do. You're paying me. If you go like, you got time to lead, you got time to clean. Well, if you got time to come up with rhymes, you got time to make a list of things for me to do. Stupid.
That was always
You're a boss.
That was always
you need to be a boss.
That was always the thing that irritated the fuck out of me about bosses. I go, there is part of this where it's like, you should actively tell people what to do.
Yeah. Like don't hire me and make me guess what I should be doing here. You need to teach me.
Well, that's
called training.
That's also that type of what would the phrasing be on this? Like that
cocksuckerness.
That level of cocksuckery. No, that level of like accusatory framing is human nature.
You're lazy.
Like
work.
whenever they talk about like climate change, like you'll see a thing where they'll be like, "Do you really need same-day shipping?" And you're like, "Hey man,
it's bright out. I need sunglasses."
Also, hey, Taylor Swift looks at a plane and also trumps my carbon footprint for one plane ride.
Yeah.
So
2 shows in China.
Me getting a fucking book the next day,
and
then putting it on my wall and never reading it. But no, for real.
Do I even need the book? No.
Me doing same day shipping on Amazon is not what's hurting the environment.
Right.
It's like the government does more pollution than we could ever imagine. Taylor Swift, all those fucking people. The irony, when they all go fly to a climate summit, they're doing more pollution to the earth than anyone that they're talking about that they're going to pass a law against is ever going to fucking do. But it's the human nature where it's like going back to the boss thing. It's like, it's always me. It's always the little guy that's the one that's being a fucker. And it's like, hey, remember when they hired you to be a boss? Why don't you
do that?
Your mannerisms are so infectious, by the way. I just patted the fuck out where I was gonna go, why don't you be a boss.
Dude, when I get mad or I get on my fucking shit, I get real sassy.
You and Steph would have fun talking to each other. She does the same fucking shit. Not that I don't. But yeah.
Legitimately, there was like I had an issue at a job once where they made me take a course and do all this stuff, and I was like, all right, well, but I was like, the course you're gonna make me take is like we're not doing most of that stuff. Like, so you're gonna make me get certified in a thing that we're not able to do, and they're just like, yeah, but we need you to do it. I'm like, so I just need to waste my fucking time. So it's like that's the thing of like I've been like that's where I get to a point of like. I know I'm right here.
Yeah.
And you fucking know I'm right. And that's when I get like when I start pointing and I start going and I sneer, I can't help my we talked about this on the last thing. I don't realize I'm doing that stuff either. You know how we point out Dave's little mannerisms and his little fucking things? I have those for sure too, but I sneer and I fucking enunciate certain fucking things that I say because you should be a boss. Like it's the same idea. You gotta be. You are hired. Like you have a job to do, sir, and you're like, yeah. What are you doing?
Like what is it?
What is it?
Also, the thing that would always get me irritated at jobs, I was like, bro, just tell me what to do.
I
and I'll go
shouldn't have
do
to
it.
tell you what to do,
Like,
Andy. Okay, you were hired in here. You got an expectation. I shouldn't have to do it. You don't know what I'm supposed to do. All right.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're supposed to do you motherfucker?
Or
you don't realize. Most people in the world don't realize how many people don't know what the fuck is going on, including those people.
Well, the other part that would also make me laugh too, where I'd be like, okay, if we want to play this game, first off, no one's gonna out-cunt me. But if we're gonna play this fucking game, because on the flip side, they'll be like, well, there's so much work to do. I can also hit you back. Well, if you were better at management, there wouldn't be as much crazy work to do. Maybe it's a you thing. Maybe you need to manage better.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that when you're in an argument and you're like, hey, if I actually use your logic, you're still wrong.
Right. Even if I use your logic, you're the asshole, and I'm still completely in the right. Like I don't understand how you can be arguing. How are you arguing this?
Yeah, for real. But anyway,
we just got all ranty. That's all right.
Oh no, I wanted to talk about this. This was interesting because we talked about like hardcore shows and how fucking fun they are. We do Pit Police. We do all this stuff. We talk about this, and like I forget what the fuck I was watching, but I was watching one like Chaos. I think it was actually Drain. Drain's a good band to like remind me of how beautiful hardcore is.
Yeah.
Because literally like they start off, you start hearing I think it's Jaws where it's like, and dude, there's literally like, it's one of those stages, which shout out to festivals that do this when they have hardcore bands. They give the kids the extra ramp to run across so they don't have to run into the band. But there's a guy on his hands and knees crawling, and he's just got a fin on his head. And I'm like, this is so fucking retarded. I love it so much.
They're having fun.
And yeah, they're just having a good time. And they're throwing like beach balls and jumping on each other. And you see all this shit. It's like the dichotomy of the world where it's like you see all this insane shit at these hardcore shows, and you very rarely hear any crazy stories about like some tragic, dangerous injury happening.
Very little tragedy that happens.
And then,
very little.
And then I see this, and I go, dude, what are the odds? So I saw this woman suffered severe spinal injury at April 2024 Trophy Eyes show, which you're not familiar with Trophy Eyes.
No.
Yeah.
That's a weird name.
Show files suit against the band,
Trophy
venue,
Eyes.
and more. So let me.
Is it like a serial killer that takes eyes as trophies, or is it like
Maybe.
like little like bowling trophies in as pupils?
Oh, so here's actually.
I really don't like that name.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
They're not a good band.
Okay.
They were actually.
There's video.
They're one of those bands. So this is the crazy thing. You were talking about this, I think, before we started
things
recording.
Say black people behind them. What does it say?
I don't know.
I don't know if that's dyslexia. Hawk.
Shock.
Huckle.
Shock plug.
Shock.
But
Sorry.
yeah, so here.
Bad banner. Hey, first strike. Terrible banner.
So here's what happens. It's funny. You actually don't. So there he goes. Yeah, he just elbow drops her.
Damn. There's like no preparation.
So he goes and like, well, here. Actually, I should play the band for you a little bit so you can get an.
I bet you could play the music and we won't even fucking get copyright.
Yeah,
strike.
you get an idea of like the vibe of the band.
We'll play out here and there.
Oh wait, I forgot. You can't hear the music. But anyway, watch him take a jump. And so, regular crowd surfing. Here, I'll play it for you so you can hear the actual band. Because
There's got to be a verbal cue.
once you hear the music too, you're like, why did you crowd surf, dude? So like that's the music. And you know, he's just kind of singing, and jumping. And so they were doing that.
Uh-huh.
And I
Was
guess
that the initial? So
that's so when he jumped here.
yeah.
We'll
By the way, nobody else is crowd surfing. Like the audience doesn't even seem too engaged, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying. I really am not trying to. Like they sound like a fine band. Pretty good turnout considering.
Yeah.
Like, considering the like, I'm not super familiar with them. Not that I'm the fucking judge, but is that where it happens? So he jumps.
Yeah.
And also gives no
warning.
No warning. You got to do a thing where you're like, come on, guys. You know, like,
well, no, especially at a show
hype
like
them
that.
up more.
Like, especially at a show like that. Like, what was the last show you and me went to? Speed.
Yeah.
No one has to. At a speed show.
No one's got to warn you.
No one's got to warn you. You're at the show. You're expecting it. Like, that's why I wanted to play the band for you. They're kind of like a girl. Like, they're for girls. It's kind of poppy. It's like slow music.
It's like Warped Tour hop music where like everybody hops and like, come on, everybody, jump.
Yeah. And then the rest of the show they're doing this.
Yeah, it's like
the rest of the show they're just kind of swaying. And it was just like I'm just like, dude, why did you just unannounced jump on everyone? No one was fucking ready for it. It was crazy.
like-
and now he fucking lands on her, and it's not definite that she's gonna be like, I don't know if it's like complete paralyzation, but she had like movement in parts of her hands and feet were a little bit rough and shit like
Sorry,
that.
I'm watching the ad.
No, okay.
Sorry. They're like, OMG. First of all, I thought it was ironic because they show a lady running, and I'm like, damn, you don't have to rub it
Yeah,
in.
that's here. Wait, let
Like,
me read this.
This lady's running, but not you.
Yeah, 24-year-old concert goer Bird Peach suffered a devastating crowd injury while
Strike two, that name.
stupid name. Yeah, I
That
mean,
name, going to see a banner like that, what a fucking idiot.
suffered a devastating crowd injury while attending the April 30th Trophy Eyes show at Mohawk Place in Buffalo, New York. During the concert, Trophy Eyes vocalist John Florini,
Get some better names, guys.
these names do suck, jumped backwards from the stage into the crowd, landing directly on top of Peach, along with several other concert goers.
By the way, a lot of other people, if I may,
May.
I think the reason we don't hear about this injury happening a lot, as well as no other injuries that suffered around her, is because everybody else was paying attention. And if I may, we haven't read any more of the story, but I'd like to do a little predict and go, maybe she wasn't super engaged and probably shouldn't have been at the front of the crowd. No matter the front of the crowd is for pushing, is for jumping, is for all that stuff. Because if you think about it, if you're at a packed show and you're in the front, you're gonna get smushed up against a barricade. So if you go, oh, they smushed me against the barricade, where were you? You know what I'm saying? Like there's certain parts. I'm not trying to victim blame here. I'm not just saying what's she wearing. I'm just asking what was she doing at the time of the jump. Because if you're not engaged, same thing as a comedy show. I'm not a good audience member. I'm a terrible audience member. I have terrible body language. I don't laugh a lot. I don't laugh at everything I probably should. I'm probably not even paying attention most of the time. My brain drifts a lot. So if I'm at a show,
I'm watching YouTube videos at full volume.
right, yeah, I'm a worst. I heckle nonstop. Oh, sorry, I saw a plane.
But
But
you're just
yeah.
in the crowd.
I was like,
being
is that going down? Is that going down? Is something happening?
You're just in the crowd being like, "Can I go up?
Yeah.
When
Hey,
you're done."
hey, when you're done with the song, I want to talk to you for a second. But like, there's certain things that like, if you got to understand where you should be. But also, that was not necessarily.
I more lean towards like
Appropriate. It wasn't appropriate.
Yeah, I more lean towards it's like, brother, you write girl music, so you have tiny girls in your crowd, and with zero warning, you just jumped into the fucking crowd.
And like you said, his actual like entry into the crowd wasn't like wasn't necessarily even a crowd surf. It looked more
It was
like
a
him
roll.
dropping an elbow.
But I will say this, and I think we'll read more in. I think reading more into it, we might come to the same conclusion where this does reek of freak accident to me.
Yes.
Because
Yeah,
I go, bro. I bet you he's done this 1,000 times. And because what did it say here? As a result, Peach suffered a traumatic spinal cord injury that left her partially paralyzed in the immediate aftermath, with a lengthy recovery process following. Peach's mother initially told local news outlet, blah blah blah, just after the incident, that her daughter had suffered a broken neck from Florini's stage dive. This part was weird. Where was it? Because apparently, this like felt. I forget where it is in the article, but apparently, right after when the ambulance came, the lead singer of the band went in the ambulance with her in the hospital, and I was just kind of like,
that's trying to avoid a lawsuit.
that's kind of maybe.
Like, can I sign anything for you? This is the most confusing part. Per a May 2025 report.
That
What?
might be a error. Wait, let's
No,
read
no,
this.
Andy. It is an error because that ain't happened yet.
Yeah. In light of
That's
the
next
incident, over 88,000 was raised via crowdfunding. Among those contributed were Trophy Eyes, which offered up 5,000, which that was probably
They're like, well, and free tickets.
in their defense. That's probably all the profit from the tour. This is the one that looked bad. Mohawk Place also contributed $500. It's like, all right, you guys will just not do it.
So, yeah. No, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'm gonna skim through this article.
If we've discussed this many times before. I think there's lots of liability that you assume as a ticket buyer. That is there's a good amount of liability that you personally take on when you. It's almost like you're signing a waiver when you buy the ticket. We've talked about that in the past.
I'll say this. That's, I think, what they're going to discuss.
Yeah.
Is I don't think legally, because this is why, too, I was also focusing in on being like, bro, it's not.
There's no negligence here.
It doesn't seem like a crowd surfing type of show.
Yeah.
It's going to be a weird thing when they figure out legally, because they're going to have to argue, like, is it implied in the purchase of a ticket that the lead singer might jump into the crowd?
Jump on you.
So it's like going back to your stand-up example. If you just jumped into the crowd and broke someone's neck, it's like, yeah, that's going to be on you.
I'm fucked, yeah.
Because it's like, from a legal standpoint, it's safe to assume.
But if you try to sue me for talking to you at a comedy show,
as long as you're not in Canada.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like that. That's what I'm saying. It's a slippery slope kind of thing. Because if you remember, a couple of years ago, the Lamb of God guy, lead singer, went to jail, and I think it was somewhere in Europe. He was at a show, and he pushed a guy that was on stage, just pushed him off a stage.
Oh, and he sued him.
And that guy got injured or died. I believe he died actually.
Oh,
and he actually was for a couple years. It was like everybody was like, "Dude, you're fine. You're gonna be all right." But it was like, or you could face charges. Like there could be actual manslaughter charges that you're facing. I think it was manslaughter. And I believe it was somewhere in Europe. It was the lead singer of Lamb of God was imprisoned and brought on charges for a little bit because of like you said, a freak accident. He probably did it a million times where he's just like, come on, guys. And like, was just like, whatever. And just keeps going. And then just happens to be one time he does this that somebody gets injured. Should crowd surfing stop? No. Should bands stop fucking moshing? No. Should Lamb of God stop pushing people up? No. It's all.
Well, that's literally.
This is all the things of like, if you're at a show and you're somewhere near the middle of the crowd or off to the side a little bit, the likelihood of you getting hurt, injured, or at all affected is very minimal at most shows you go to.
I think they should just, from a legal standpoint, they're like, venues should just cover their own ass. And I don't know if this is like legally enough for them to protect themselves, but I do think like whether you got to put a thing out, whether you got to put a thing on the fucking wall when they walk in, or you got to like make an announcement before the show starts. But it's just like to cover your own ass, because like legitimately this kind of ruined Warped Tour. No one like talks about it, and I think at the end of the day it was like business shit. But people forget the last couple years of Warped Tour.
They banned statutory rape, and all the
no
bands
bands
canceled.
wanted to play.
Nobody wanted to come, and they're like, "No more statutory rape," and they're like, "But come on,
Why am I even in this band?
come on!" And they swoop their hair back. And they're like, "Come on!"
Oh, speaking of swooped hair, that was what BK Chris was hitting me. He was like, "Did you like swoop your hair and shit?" And I was just like, "What do you think's gonna happen when you straighten it, Chris?"
Yeah,
It gets swoopy, stupid.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I think a big part of what like killed Warped Tour was the fact that like they would actively put signs up by this next to the stage that said like no moshing,
Yeah.
no stage diving, which I don't think is the solution. I think the solution is if you like two things. The band might jump into the crowd.
yeah.
Or if you jump into the crowd or you get into the crowd, you might get hit.
Right.
And I think it's fair to put that in like the legal agreement or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, if you get it's really funny. When I went to that Slayer show at the Hard Rock with Killswitch, when I was walking in, they had signs on the pillars as you're walking in and all over that said "No moshing," and I was like, I literally, I was so young, I was so naive, and I went like, I talked to my friend Chris. I was like, "There's signs that say no moshing," and he goes, "Oh, little Pat," and he like patted me. And he's like, and as soon as Slayer started. Legitimately, dude, the floor went like this, like under your feet. It just started moving like this because of how many people were pushing each other, and just punching and jumping and like doing all this shit. And you're like, yeah, it's a show. It's supposed to. That's to me, even with a pussy band, it is more normal to see a guy dive on the front 2 or 3 rows. You're in the splash zone, dude. Like if you were at SeaWorld, you get sprayed with the whale diarrhea. If you're at fucking the Gallagher show, you're getting sprayed with whale diarrhea. If you're at the whale diarrhea show, you're getting stage dove on. You know
the whale diarrhea show, they're throwing Gallagher at you.
They're gonna throw some watermelon seeds in your way.
It is a funny one though, where I will say though, when you watch the video, it is the irony of like no one's really moving.
Right. This is what This is what I'm saying. It's like you're not even reading the room correctly. Nobody. If other people were staged, like, are you trying to evoke it? Is this just the time where you're like, I know I have 15 seconds, so I got to do something, and I don't want to dance, so I'm just going to lay and fart on these kids' heads for a little bit.
I forgot about this part. This part was kind of funny. It said in 2023, Trophy Eyes' penchant for encouraging crowd dives. Wait, you're a music website. It's called Stage Diving.
Crowd diving.
Made headlines. They're like, sorry, let my grandma write this article.
Yeah.
A fan upset about the Mather took to social media to call the group. I forgot about this statement is so fucking funny. First time I ever heard of you guys was the concert in Atlanta tonight, and the lead singer kept encouraging mosh pits and crowd surfing, which made the majority of us who were there for Against the Current feel very unsafe and have to go to the sidelines, which is
go to the sidelines.
Yeah, you're in the area where they're moving, which is not fair because we were there before your crazy fans. I almost had a panic attack. I didn't even get the chance to find out if I liked your song because I had to keep worrying about getting kicked in the head.
So we're going to arrest that person.
Yeah, you're going to Guantanamo.
You're not allowed to go to shows anymore. We're going to put you in Guantanamo Bay. But also, these guys seem to be famously off the mark. You know what I'm saying? Like, not able to actually like figure out who
their audience is.
Yeah, because like you're opening for another band. Say you don't have moshable music, so like the guy encouraging people to mosh. And then even if people do it ironically, damn. I think I got poisoned.
Did you eat that poison I gave you?
Yeah, but was that poison?
Not like.
Was it bad?
Not like.
Was it expired?
Not like death poison.
Just tickly throat poison?
Yeah, but you will have a spiral penis like a pig's tail. Go on.
Again? But I already got one on the back. There's a level of reading the room or knowing the capabilities of your fan base or something like that. If by multiple times you've Jeb Bushed them and said, please clap, please clap,
please
clap, please clap, and then you just go like, all right, I'll show you how to do it. You know what I mean? Like, then you should give more than $5,000 to the GoFundMe. That's the most punishment I could dole out for this because, like you said, I think this is a freak accident. This is very reminiscent of the Lamb of God thing.
Oh, it's the music equivalent of
where you don't want to kill the people that are actually there supporting you.
Well,
you idiot.
It's the music equivalent of what D'Lo Brown did to that guy.
Yeah, to Draws. Yeah, I just talked about that.
Yeah.
Were we just talking about that?
Not me and you.
No, Lemaire actually. He's because I said something about he's gonna puke. I mentioned that part.
Yeah.
From like he's gonna puke. He's gonna puke. Like
yeah, it was him.
Where he goes from McMahon to like Vince McMahon businessman to like
Mr. McMahon.
Yeah. But yeah, the D'Lo Brown thing, he said, oh, yeah, you know what happened to that guy, right? And I was like, yeah, D'Lo Brown accidentally fucking paralyzed him.
They showed the video. It's like he hits it the same way. I forget what his move was, but he hits the move the same way he hits it all the time.
Yeah. But it was something like that where it's just like, also, that guy is coming from football. He's less experienced as a wrestler. Like, all this other shit. Like, it's just a thing that, like, when you have 300-pound dudes jumping up on top of ropes and flipping each other onto each other's heads, you're gonna get paralyzed every once in a while.
It's a freak accident. When it's a freak accident, it's a freak accident.
Whereas I'm watching the Owen Hart fucking Stone Cold thing, and I'm like, how is he able to continue to wrestle?
Oh, that's Owen Hart's fuck up.
That's crazy. He did a sit down tombstone. Who the fuck does a sit down tombstone?
Well, people don't want
literally nobody.
Well, it's not even the sit down tombstone. It's you're like. When you do a tombstone, not that I've done them, but when you do a tombstone, their head should be like here-ish.
And this is the lowest part, yeah.
Yeah, his head was like through the fucking ground before he even did it.
He was 69 and was Stone Cold and just sat down and just said, here, have a little bit of fucking spine compression.
And then apparently, wrestling fans don't
Happy birthday to Stone Cold, by the way, 60 years old.
Happy birthday to Stone Cold. CTE's not real. But no, a lot of wrestling fans hate talking about it because they don't want to they're like, well, Owen Hart's dead, so we can't acknowledge that he was a dickhead sometimes. And it was like,
bro,
no, he broke Stone Cold's neck, shortened his in-ring career, and never apologized for it.
If Bret Hart should hate a bald fucking wrestler, it's not Goldberg, it's fucking Stone Cold. He's the one that killed your brother. He put out the hit, allegedly.
Wrestling fans are like notoriously gay, out of touch retards. I saw someone well, this is kind of cool, but I hate Bret Hart, so.
Why do you hate Bret Hart?
He's such a fucking annoying.
He's the excellence of execution.
Well, he's one of those dudes that lets a bad mood affect his opinion, and so
Canadian.
Canadian, and
a real Trudeau.
Yes, lots of blackface in his private life. No, kidding. No, Bret Hart's one of those dudes who fucking what was it? Oh yeah, I saw this clip a while. Well, first off, the short answer is he's completely wrong about the Montreal screw job. He was a complete fucking cunt about it.
Yeah.
He was being utterly unreasonable. Yeah. And but that's the short. But then you see shit.
Bret screwed Bret.
Yeah, 110%.
That's the Canadian exchange rate.
It's more than 100. You fuck.
I still like Bret Hart.
I mean, he's a good wrestler.
I think he's one of the greatest. Aside from Dean Malenko.
He had this video. Where he was mad at Triple H that week, and they were interviewing him. He's like, "How do you feel about Triple H?" He's like, "Never has had one good match ever." And you're like, "Well, come on."
Yes.
You're just being a fucking baby.
He's had some pretty good ones.
Yeah, and he is also a big too. Steph put it good the one way. He's one of those dudes who how'd she say it? Doth do protest. He does that too much.
Yeah, thou protest too much.
Yeah, he got all gay because they made him do a storyline where he had to be kind of flirty with a girl. You're like, just do it.
Yeah,
cheat on your wife.
I cheat on my wife with that lady, not that lady.
I cheat on my wife.
He did with Sonny, right?
With a white Christian woman.
That's what Shawn Michaels would always say.
I think that was the bit though, right? That was the rumor.
No, he did. I'm pretty sure he did, but he was just he's like, that stuff's private and it's supposed to be in the locker room.
Yeah, and
you're being uncouth. And anyway, I'm going to do things completely different than the way the business done it because I want to do it.
Also, my claim to fame is I'm going to make fake wrestling look like real wrestling.
Really good though.
Cool.
We're going to take it real seriously.
We're going to take it super seriously, so this looks real. But we're going to talk about it beforehand, so it's not going to be real.
I would always get the Lions Den mixed up with. Wasn't it Lions Den?
The what?
Didn't he have
the Wolf Pack?
No, Lions Den, where his Stu Hart's
dungeon
or whatever.
No,
Lions Den is where Ken Shamrock
Is that what it's called?
trained. Yeah.
I was gonna say I don't know what the lion's den.
So that's
is.
what I was. I would.
Oh, they're
get
the dungeon.
the dungeon. Yeah, I would get that mixed up with the guy who Ken Shamrock's dad was, but never mind.
I guess it's technically the Heart Dungeon.
Yeah, the Heartfound Dungeon.
You want to start a wrestling podcast?
Yeah. Can we just talk about just wrestling that I watched when I was
Yeah,
prepubescent?
100%. Whatever you want to do.
Razor Ramon. I got a lot of thoughts. Where did all those toothpicks go? Benson Henderson, MMA fighter, has fought every one of his pro fights with a toothpick in his mouth.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a quick question before we get out of here?
Mm-hmm.
When you're in a bad mood, because I've been mulling this over.
Threaten suicide. Lock myself in a corner.
Kill a CEO.
Allegedly.
When you're in
A bad mood.
like for me, I always joke, occasionally you catch a stray and you come down with a case of the boo-hoos.
Uh-huh.
When you listen to music, do you listen to upbeat music to make yourself feel better, or do you listen to sad or aggressive music to lean into it?
I listen to music that I like, but it's hard to say. It's not always consistent. Like, I don't seek a type out. Like, it'll be like most likely, I think it'll be more of like a workout type of thing. Like I'm going to work this out with this, but not like I'm going to sit in my feelings with this. So like if it would be like a breakup or something like that, I wouldn't be listening to like How Much I Love You songs. I might be listening to like Fuck You, I Don't Need You songs. You know what I'm saying? So like
So you match the mood?
I think so, yeah. I think I don't.
It's kind of what I do.
I don't think I'm really super conscious of it though. But I think that if I were to if I'm in a headspace, because then like sometimes I'll just put music on to have it in the background just to have noise going on. Or sometimes I'll just have podcasts. Like
bad mood music choices are much different than good mood, because there's like, am I in a good mood and I want to amp myself up, or am I just in a good mood and I need some background tunes?
I think what it is, it's almost like how people talk about. Oh, I never talked about the cop that I thought I came across, but it's anytime I smoke weed.
Do you wanna?
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, it was kind of going into that, but like where it doesn't make me anything. Do you know what I'm saying? Like people are like, oh, he's grumpy because he hasn't had his weed. No, I would be grumpy anyway. It just kind of heightens, or like it just kind of focuses on
makes
that
the grump
mood.
more manageable.
It focuses on that mood. So like if I'm super happy, I can like just continue to be happy. Like I'm still in a good mood. It's not. It's a heightener of whatever that situation is.
Okay.
But I was smoking in the back, like the creek,
Yeah.
So I was back there with
In the cave?
Yeah, both of them. I was in the cave. But it was just me, Dave, and Clay. This fucking old guy in this fedora and like a t-shirt. He looked like I sent a picture of the Steve Buscemi meme, the "Hey fellow kids."
Oh yeah.
Like he just like looked like this is like what an older guy would think a cool guy would dress like.
Well, he was like, I'm a cop?
But he comes over and he goes, "Hey man, I got to ask you. I've been smelling that stuff all night." And he's like, "Where'd you get it?" And I go like, "What?" And he's like, I mean, he's like, you can go to these stores and get some of that other stuff. He's like, but I can tell. He's like, that's the real stuff, man. Like, can you tell me where you got it?
What the fuck?
And I was just like, and I go, no, this is THCA. I said, it's the same stuff you get in the stores. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, I just go into the store. He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, you go into the store, right? He's like, but then like you go like, hey, give me that special stuff. And then the guy reaches under the counter, right?
Being the most fucking obvious
dude,
cop
I was just
in the
like,
world.
I said, I don't know where they store it, but I come in and I order whatever they have on the menu, and they just get it from wherever they store it.
That's crazy.
I just like knew immediately. I could smell. I said, you fucking pig bitch.
Yeah.
Like I was just like one of those things where he didn't let up. Dude, I was just like, how more obvious do you have to be to go like, hey fellow kids, anyway, like I probably saw some narcs out there earlier, but I'm cool like you. So where can I get the good stuff?
That's like we got into season 2 of The Wire, and there's like one scene where they post up and they do the whole
take your shirt off.
They do the whole Yeah, right.
You
You
bitch.
just gotta
Yeah.
start hitting him with one of these. Like,
Yeah.
where's the fucking
Hey,
tape recorder?
everybody. Nice try.
He just has his like phone in his pocket. So
Dude,
he's like, "So where did you get?" No,
Well-
dude. Like we were watching The Wire, and there's a scene where they're like hitting a new spot. They're trying to do drug bust, and the one cop, he's just this stalky, fucking super Italian.
this?
He's just like, yeah. And he's just like, he's wearing sweatpants, but he's in real nice clothes. He's just like, "Hey, you guys got any fucking heroin over here?"
Where can I get the dope? Hey, do you guys know where I can find some dope?
And I go, dude, that's the thickest fucking heroin addict I've ever seen in my
Bro,
life.
I couldn't like I like, and I like just kept saying like, and he kept like doubling down. He's like, yeah, but where can I like just tell me where you got it and then I can go get some myself.
Yeah.
like shit like that where you're just like, do you not realize how obvious you're being and how stupid you're being? And also, this is the legal stuff, dude. I know what you're
When did
talking
he
about.
finally stop?
And then he even said like he's like, yeah, but which store do you go into? And I'm just like, I don't know, man. I don't go to one particular store. They're all over the place. You can go
Yeah.
anywhere. I said,
'Cause there's a bunch of them actually.
yeah,
right?
literally. I said, they just go up and down 6th Street. He's like, yeah. So like, but when you're walking up 6th Street, which one are you going into? And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, dude.
He's so bad at that.
He's so bad at being a cop, and you're so old. Like it's like the dumbest fucking thing. So like, first of all, you want me to compromise the place I'm hanging out at for something that is federally illegal, and you're just trying to like you are coming over and going like, guys, do you want a case of entrapment? Like, I got all this entrapment here. You guys need some entrapment?
Yeah.
Because I'm just sitting here, I'm over here going like, thinking to myself, how can I entrap these guys? I'm just like, what can I do? Like, they're not doing any hard drugs,
Yeah.
so I should go over and try to nail
So,
them
like,
on
hey,
some of
these
these
guys
soft
aren't-
as fuck charges.
These guys aren't causing any problems.
Any problems whatsoever?
Should I ruin their life?
Right. Like out of nowhere, on like a Tuesday evening.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude. And luckily I was like, I had an order, but I was like, I'm gonna go do something. But I just went in there and just kept texting Dave. I'm like, I was like, I can't remember what I said, but I was just like that guy's a fucking cop for sure.
100%.
But he was just like, oh, he's gone. What did he say? I was like, okay. I said, I smell bacon, brother. I said, that guy's 5-0. He's like, he's gone. And I just sent him the meme. I was like, how do you feel? Or, how do you do, fellow kids?
Yeah.
Like, it's the same thing, man. Music band. You know what I mean? Like, this is how that guy looked. Almost exactly.
That I accidentally, because I had when I was in college one time, I didn't really like sell my friends out because I didn't get to specifics about them drinking. But my friends actually sold themselves out because they started fighting in front of 2 undercover cops. But I was walking. And I was like, it was funny too because I had a little bit to drink that night, but I was like feeling really sick, so I didn't end up drinking that much. So by the time we got to these cops, I probably would have blown sober. So I'm walking, and my friends are being drunk, tailing behind, and then I kind of stopped because they started jaw jacking with these 2 dudes, and then I'm standing there, and there's these 2 guys standing there, and in hindsight, it was like the most obvious shit ever. It was that like, hello, fellow kids. It was just 2 old dudes, and they're wearing like new Hollister clothes and all this other shit. And then they were like, yeah, what's going on over there? I go, I don't know, man. My friends are being retards. Because they kept like arguing
And
with
then
people.
then it's like, oh, those are your friends? What are their names? Where do they live? And you're like shit like that, where you're just like, why are you? What are you think I'm doing?
They weren't saying shit like that, but I was just being like, I wasn't picking because this was like my first time dealing with undercovers.
Yeah.
I was like, I remember being like, these guys seem older, but not thinking about it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like standing there being like, guys, can we fucking go? And then one of them pushes the other one, and then they start going back and forth. I'm about to like walk up, and then I see these 2 dudes. This was in Kutztown, PA. These 2 dudes just start walking. They're like, Kutztown undercover, fucking cut it the fuck out. And I was like, huh?
Yeah.
And then when I thought about it later, I was like, oh, that was so fucking obvious.
And it's so fucking obvious. That's what I'm saying. Like that's kind of the same idea of like you can't have it both ways. You can't just come up and just. It was just so disgusting and so like.
Also, I'm so happy
persistent.
So happy to find out Austin PD is wasting their time with fucking dudes smoking in between making orders.
Bro, it's nuts. Like you could not have been hurting less people with anything. Because that's the only other thing I could think of is like he was like, you know, all right, I can let them know. That's one bong. They're doing it again? Like, God damn it. Like one of those things, if you keep blowing that hippie lettuce in my face, I'm going to get you and I'm going to nail you downtown, bud. Now you're coming with me.
Wait, how fucking obvious was it? Like, could you have told if you
first it was just weird. At first it was just like, this guy's awkward, but then he just kept.
Because how old do you think he was?
In his 60s easily. Like, I would have to say he's like silver hair.
Yeah.
Fedora. Like, not an AC/DC shirt, but something similar to like somewhere between Ed Hardy and AC/DC type style. You know what I mean?
So funny to think there's cops hanging out at the creek just trying to bust people for having a little bit of weed.
And that's what I'm saying. Is like I don't. If he was not that.
Actually, I don't think he was trying to bust you. I think he was trying to find the guy, see if he could find like a street
find
dealer.
the source.
Yeah.
But it's also like a thing of like, you know, we've got a lot of people that say they get stuff from out of here or whatever. Like, I don't fucking buy it from any particular place. I'm not some weird narc. And also, this is completely legal. Why would I do it?
Send you to a fucking store so you can harass people.
There's stores where you can get this. Go to that store and talk to them.
Because you know, even if...
Well, yeah, they have it hit. When he said that shit, when he's like, yeah, but then you go in there and then you give him like a secret word or something and he gets it from behind the counter, right? And I was like, I don't know where they store it, dude. I said,
this also goes back to like, you ever see people who are like, how do you get into, and they pick some artistic career? And those people, I always go, it's not even worth talking to them. Because if you really wanted to do it, you wouldn't be asking how you get into it. You'd be like, how do I get better?
You'd be trying to get into it.
You'd be in the, and it's the same thing with getting weed. If you want weed, you're just going to be figuring out how to get weed.
Right.
So like, no one gets weed by being like, hey, youngster, what's the secret password for the good drugs?
Let me know exactly where you get it, the name of the place.
Yeah.
Can you write it down? Can you send me your personal email? And like all this other shit that was just completely unnecessary and also just weird to do socially anyway. To
Even
go like,
if he
no,
wasn't a cop.
man, I'm cool. Like, yeah, if he was a cop, if he was not a cop or had never been a cop,
it's weird as
I
shit.
would be shocked to my core. That's how fucking confident I was. I don't think that guy smokes pot.
Yeah.
I don't at all.
Yeah.
Like he's like, you know, oh no, I'm from the West Coast. I know the good stuff, and that's some good stuff. Like kind of thing.
That?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Wait.
I'm telling you, like all of this shit. Like
you're saying word for word, he said that.
Yes.
That's insane.
Yeah, that is one of the sentences he used. I remember that distinctly. The behind the counter code word thing. And I was like, oh yeah, this guy's definitely a cop. Definitely a cop.
I'm from the West Coast and I know the good stuff.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's almost like, hey man, I'm not one of those squares. Like, really? Yeah. Yeah, you are.
Yeah, you are, dude.
You are the cookie cutter version of a square. And even at this point, even if I did have weed and I did trust you, I would never give you weed because of how lame you are.
You're a goddamn cube, you little bitch.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin your perfect reputation because you've never done a substance in your life.
Brother, you're about 6 squares put together. You're so fucking square.
Dude, it was almost like I thought I was in a sketch. That's how obvious he was being. So
no, it's the whole fucking hello, fellow children. Yeah.
Like that energy in general was immediately off-putting, but it was just like that. No, how persistent he was. And like Clay and Dave were just like, yeah, it's weird. And I just kept going like, I was the one that was just like, no, I don't think that's right. I think I can just go to any of these stores and get this stuff in the store. I don't know what you mean. And he's like, no, I don't know. What is it? I'm like, this is that stuff, dude.
What's the point where, what happens when you get to a point and you go, hey man, you're clearly a cop.
Yeah. Well, because to me, I always felt like that. I didn't like that in like even like crime shows that I watched. I want to try to convince this guy that I am convinced I'm innocent. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to get to a point and go like, look, dude, you're not gonna catch me.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to even give him that satisfaction of like I am doing something, but I'm not gonna tell you.
You can't figure it out,
right? Because it's like one of those things of like I'm just gonna no sell it the entire time.
I get what you're saying.
To where I'm just gonna go like I have no idea what you mean,
it's an interesting strategy. Yeah.
I would absolutely be heartbroken if I ever broke a law.
I'm not saying I would definitely do this, but my heart tells me that I would get frustrated because I don't like doing the whole fucking rigmarole. I
love doing it. It's like wasting a telemarketer's time.
Yeah.
I love doing it.
I would do it for a minute, and if he just kept going, I'd be like, hey man, you're clearly a cop.
Yeah.
Can we stop?
Yeah. do you want to just keep doing this? Or
Yeah, you're obviously a cop.
I'm not going to tell you where
That's
I got
crazy.
this super illegal thing.
Yeah.
But that's the
insane.
But that's the thing is like I if you're not doing it, and that's my point is like that's I think an issue that comes up a lot of times with cops in general. It's the fact that even when people are not doing anything and they get accused of something, they get super defensive and give them a reason to do that. That's why I'm saying, like, I'm not going to go and go, look, man, you're a fucking cop and I'm not going to fucking talk to you, even though I may feel that way.
Oh, no,
I'm just going to go like, sir, I have no idea what you mean. This is store-bought. Like, this is completely legal. I would
always
never,
be cordial with cops.
I would never do anything to put this establishment into any kind of jeopardy. I love this place.
Yeah.
And I would never do something so illicit just to compromise some of my friends' careers and well-being. It's like, that would be terrible. I have friends that perform here, sir. That's not funny to joke about. I'd rather be that and just have them go like, fuck you, piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like,
bitch.
And then pull out a knife and cut up open a bag of fucking heroin and just drink the whole, like, make it like Kool-Aid. I don't give a shit. I will lie right to a cop's face and speed away. Just go like, I had no idea. Did I tell you that? That was my biggest excuse, and I remember how devastating it was. One of my core memories from elementary school. Somewhere in 5th grade, I was already thinking of doing bad kid shit. I think...
Hood rat shit with your friends?
Yeah, like, just whatever. Like, we're white trash. We hung out on a dead end. We dug through trash.
Yeah.
But there's any of that shit where, like, there was a poster that said, ignorance of the law is no excuse. And it had a cop pointing, and it was just like, shit. I was like, damn, they're on to me.
Actually,
that was my one thing is of the excuse of being, I didn't know I couldn't do that.
Here's my,
at least for one.
Here's my counter to that, to all the cops out there. Yes, it is.
By the way, most cops are ignorant of the law.
Yeah. It's
really funny how many of them, if you just go like, hey, excuse me, what am I getting arrested for? Like, resisting? You're like, what?
Yeah.
No. What was I getting arrested for originally that now I am resisting? I'm not arguing with you. I am resisting arrest because you're not notifying me why I'm being detained. And by law, you have to.
Yeah, I've always heard that.
Ignorance of the law is no excuse, sir.
I've always heard that many a time where people say ignorance of the law is no excuse. And I go, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I can't
know every law.
I mean, I will say this. It's like in certain scenarios, you could pick out laws where it's like, you can't just be like, wait, it's illegal to kill people.
I didn't know I couldn't.
What? Yeah, obviously there's certain laws where you're like, well, you're still going to jail for that because you're a violent criminal. But like, yeah, I don't fucking know. If I don't fucking know the law, like, give me a break.
Yeah, I need a little bit of leeway.
Yeah, that's all right. Anyway, fuck 5-0, except for the ones that babysit my cat. And also, show us your big goth titties, guys.
Please. Yeah, hey, send us some great goths. Tonye, please.
Tonye.
You know what to do. Make the whole collage this time all goth titties.
Yeah, Tonye. Definitely make the Simp Chat goth theme
Make the Simp Chat goth again.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. We love you all. Have a good one.
Most
Peace.
of you.
All of you.
I'm going to go pee now.